buddy Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back at again with a brand new video. I'm gonna keep it a Bowberry biscuit. It's time to get real and be honest about what this team really looks like. We've seen 8 games from these Carolina Panthers, so now it's time for a midterm review. It's time to give this team a grade, and I'm gonna go position group by position group, and I'm gonna give a quick rundown of why I gave these position groups the grades I give them, from quarterback, running backs, receivers, tight ends, O-line, D-line, linebackers, DBs, and I'm even gonna do the special teams, even though I know most of us would rather not see special teams at all. Maybe y'all do. Personally, I hate kicking. I think kicking is not, it's not football. The way I see it, there's no point in kickoffs. Punting is for scared punks, and kicking a field goal just makes no sense to me. It has nothing to do with 99% of the game of football. That's a topic for another day. Let's talk about each position group and give them a grade, starting with, obviously, the quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater. He is 7th in yards in the NFL, but keep in mind, the Panthers have played 8 games, and the next 5 quarterbacks each have 7 games played, and they would all pass him if in their next game they hit their average yards passing per game. Now, he is 2nd in the league in completion percentage, but he is also 25th in average completed air yards at 5.3. That is not good. And as a quick aside for that stat, that is for all quarterbacks who have 100 plus passing attempts, including Dwayne Haskins, who lost his job. I'm not going to include dudes who have, 70 or 60 attempts. That doesn't mean much to me. If you even have 100, which I think that's pretty low as well, I counted you in that stat. But he's also tied for 24th in the league with 9 touchdowns, but he's also tied for 9th with 6 interceptions, and he's only tied for 9th because there are 6 other quarterbacks who have 7 interceptions. So he only has the 3rd most interceptions in the league as far as numbers. That is not good. Whether you want to blame the scheme, look, 9 touchdowns to 6 interceptions is just poor management. That is bad decision making. That is Teddy Bridgewater putting the ball in harm's way. Now we can talk about, COVID, new OC, coming to a new team, no OTAs, no real training camp, no mini camp, no preseason, which is when you would have all the opportunity to get used to the coaching staff, the scheme, the players around you. But I just can't get over 6 picks. You're a quarterback. 9 touchdowns, 6 picks. I understand the red zone issues. That just don't cut it for me, but I was real nice with the grade. I gave Teddy Bridgewater a teacher's pet B-, but a standard C+. Look, there are some very extenuating circumstances surrounding what's going on with Teddy right now, but I can't give him a B. I can't give him a B+. I have to give him a B-, but if it was anyone else in the class, you feel me? If he wasn't so nice to the teacher, he would get a C+, but I'm gonna be nice and give him a B- and understanding this is his first time starting, as the actual starter of a team in 4 years really? And every team is dealing with COVID, but this team specifically, our circumstances are a little bit different than just about every other team in the league, so I gave him a little bit of a break. On to the running backs, C-Mac and Mike Davis. As we know, CMC only played 2 games, but he still had 4 rushing touchdowns. C-Mac only played 2 games this season, and he was kind of schemed out of the first half of our first game, but he still has 4 rushing touchdowns. Mike Davis has looked great. Mike Davis has looked way better than I expected him to look in this season without Christian McCaffrey. Only had 1 bad game of his 6. That was against the Saints. Other than that, he's looked pretty damn good. He has 350 yards rushing on 84 attempts. That is 4.2 yards per carry. 2 touchdowns receiving, 2 touchdowns rushing. He's been good. He's been good, especially when you consider that we've had a little bit of a carousel going on with our O-line. Dudes are getting hurt. Some dudes are just healthy scratches. Some dudes are playing and just aren't really all that great. But I'm going to get to the O-line a little bit more in a second. For me, I have to give this running back group an A. I cannot blame games on the running back group. The Saints game is 1 game, but for 7 out of the 8 games, the running backs have looked good. Mostly been Mike Davis, But, the running backs have not been a huge issue. I cannot put any blame on them. They don't get an A+ because there is room to improve. And we know where that room to improve is. He should be coming back very, very soon. On to the wide receivers. Look, Robbie Anderson is 3rd in the league in yards. He has 51 catches for 688 yards, 1 touchdown. DJ Moore is 7th in the league in yards, but he's 3rd in the league in average yards per catch. 38 receptions for 622 yards, 3 touchdowns. DJ has had some inconsistencies here and there, has some bad drops on catches that were very, very catchable. A little bit inconsistent for a guy who was drafted in the 1st round and is looking to get paid very, very soon. We'll see how the rest of the year goes for him, but I can't complain too much about him. And then Curtis Samuel, 29 receptions, 262 yards receiving. He's kind of been schemed out of the game for like maybe 5 of the games so far, but he has 1 touchdown receiving and 2 touchdowns rushing. Curtis Samuel has still been a factor, but not as much as I think most fans would have thought. I gave this position group an A+. What more can you ask of them? When you pair those 3 guys' numbers together with this scheme not using guys right, we see Robbie Anderson on quick slants. That is not using Robbie Anderson the right way. We know what Teddy Bridgewater's average air yards is. Look, it is what it is. He's throwing the ball short. He's throwing the ball quickly. We understand what's going on. You can blame the O-line if you want to. You can blame the coaching staff if you want to. You can blame Teddy's decision making if you want to. And you can make very valid arguments for all 3. I would not call you wrong if you spoke on any one of those 3 things. The fact remains is that you cannot put the blame on these wide receivers for the most part. I gave them an A+ because under the circumstances, all these yards after catch, all these yards after contact, it's not their fault that we have so few passing touchdowns. All right, gone to the tight ends. I gave them a grade of present. The tight end group for the Carolina Panthers is that quiet kid you forget is even in the class until he raises his hand and says he's present at the very beginning of the class, and you don't hear from him again unless he sneezes. Now, if the teacher does call on him, he usually has the right answer. You say, oh, damn, he's in the class. Oh, I forgot all about that kid. And then 10 seconds later, you just forget about him again. You do not hear from him. You don't see him. They don't draw attention because no one else around him draws attention to him. They show up, do their work, but no one ever sees them. And in the slight chance, just the small opportunities they do get to show off their talent, how smart they are, how good they are, you see them for a second, you say, oh damn, maybe there's something there. And then they don't get another opportunity ever again. No one cares about blocking. You only care about tight end blocking when they're the reason for a quarterback getting sacked. They are a thankless position unless they're catching passes. And if your quarterback looks them off as they're wide open down the field, what can you do? I can't give these tight ends a real grade. They're just there. They're there and they're present. Another one where if you want to blame Teddy Bridgewater's decision making, if you want to blame Joe Brady's scheme, because these tight ends do get open, and on the plays they're not open, they are put on routes that are decoy routes that these guys shouldn't be running. You don't want Ian Thomas running a streak up the seam. That's just a cover 2 beater. That's to get the linebacker or the safety to back up a little bit to make room for a quick slant from the opposite side, or maybe even some other kind of crossing route underneath. That's what that's for. The tight ends are just there. It is what it is. On to the O-line. I gave them a grade of C++ because look, like I mentioned before, injuries, guys are healthy scratches, but it doesn't really matter because it's just been a carousel, right? We see guys coming in, coming out. Some dudes are inconsistent, but the big fact does still remain that this offensive line in 2020 actually might be the best offensive line this team has fielded in almost a decade. Almost a decade. This is actually one of the best offensive lines the Panthers have seen in a minute. And we're still just not that great. Look, 16 sacks allowed on Teddy Bridgewater, but I'll tell you this. Probably at least 5 of those are Teddy's fault for holding the ball too long or running into pressure. I won't lie to you. There's been times I've seen Greg Little, I've seen Matt Paradis, who's been better than last year, and I've seen some other times where we've had some bad missed blocking assignments and guys come in free and hit Teddy. That's not all the time, and this O-line talent has played better than I expected, but we all know games are won and lost in the trenches, so you have to grade these dudes kind of hard. I say they're about average. I give them a C++ for playing above what I expected of them, but I can't say they're really all that great compared to the better O-lines in the National Football League. You can't ignore 16 sacks through 8 games. Moving on to the defense, the D-line, you got KK hurt, right? YGM is now hurt. And let's be real here, I don't want to just gloss over this. Even when KK was healthy and in the game, he was showing very big signs of inconsistency and not putting in that work, not having that production you think of when you hear KK short, okay? KK was supposed to be that guy who was another anchor right beside Derrick Brown that made offensive lines have to make a hard choice. Do I double team KK and leave Derrick Brown to wreck me on this side? Or do I double team Derrick Brown and KK does what he's been doing for years now? Him going out, I don't mind Zach Kerr, I don't mind Bravion Roy, but they aren't the same kind of dudes. They don't allow Derrick Brown to do what he does. This team is, I think, third to last in the National Football League in sacks. We only have 8 total sacks on the year. But 6 of those 8 sacks come from 2 players on the D-line. That's Brian Burns, Marquise Haynes. Marquise Haynes has been shining after not getting any time under Ron Rivera. We know how that go. So I'm going to say right here, the D-line gets a B-. They're not great, okay? We get ran on. We don't get pressure all the time in the pass game. But they've been pretty damn impressive. I think B- is a very fair way to go for this D-line. It's only going to improve as we add another interior piece and maybe get our exterior guys a little healthier and have a little bit of a deeper rotation of guys who can come in, come out, rush the quarterback, and generate more pressure in passing situations. On to the linebackers, the group of the hour. This is the classic case of the valedictorian getting paired with the kid who always sleeps in class. Jeremy Chinn is, I think, 7th in the league in total tackles. Jeremy Chinn by himself is a mega, giga, super A+. Tyre Whitehead, even though the past 2 games have been alright, he's a mega, super, giga, ultra, F-, get out of my class. You have to go to that other school on that other bus in the other county. We don't want you in our school system. You're bringing down our test grades. Why are you here? And then Shaq Thompson. I will always have love for Shaq Thompson. This man finessed $54 million out of a billionaire. He said, you remember Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis Sr.? I ain't either one of those dudes, but I'm who you have right now. I need $54 million over the next 4 years pronto. And he got it. And he's not playing horribly, but he's not playing up to that contract. He's just there. I have to give this linebacker core a C. A+, F-, and Shaq Thompson shows up when he shows up. He's about average. He's not bad, but he's about average, okay? I can't hate him. I can't love him. He's on the field and he's there, okay? He's there. Linebacker core gets a C. Now for the DBs, this was a hard one. How do you grade the defensive backs of the Carolina Panthers? We already knew they were going to be bad because a lot of young dudes, rookies, 1-year guys. Was Rasul Douglas going to be good? You brought in Eli Apple for some reason, and you understand what kind of division we're in and what kind of schedule we have with the quarterback, wide receiver duos of all the teams we play in 2020. We have the 5th least passing touchdowns allowed in the whole NFL with 9. 6 interceptions, 3 from Dante alone. Dante's played consistently well in this season outside of that first game. I mean, it is what it is. But I've seen this team look really good with Dante and Rasul Douglas. Even Corn Elder. He's playing at a Hall of Fame level compared to what he was doing before when we saw Russell Wilson bully this man. Corn Elder's getting about 1/3 of the snaps on defense, and he's not part of the problem. Now, Justin Burris on his 3rd team in 4 years. I think he was good before he got hurt. Sam Franklin is the strong safety now. He's playing all right. Not really all that great, but it's cool. Troy Pride in the right spot at the right time, but he's just not strong. He's just not really NFL ready for tackling. He cannot impose his will. This is a defense where you see us bending but not breaking. In watching games, it looks real bad seeing these quarterbacks throw on us over and over and over again. But we're actually about dead middle of the pack in the NFL in passing yards allowed. I think for the most part, the damage gets done to our linebackers, so I can't really give that to our DBs for the most part. But I will be lying if I said we were an above average defensive back group in the NFL. I give us a C. We're about average. We're not great. We're not bad. We're not even really all that good. But I think this defense depends on Rasul Douglas, and any secondary that actually depends on Rasul Douglas, he's good. Don't get me wrong. But if your X factor is Rasul Douglas, you might need to find you might want to find a little more help to put around him. Now, Trey Boston has the third most tackles on the team at 47, but that's not really great in the grand scheme of the NFL in general. So, look, it is what it is. DBs get a C. It's about where we thought it'd be. Maybe even a little bit better. Special teams, they get a B from me. Farrell Cooper is 10th in the league in average kick return yards at 24.0. Joey Sly is 3rd in field goals made. He is 18 for 21, which is 85.7%. He's missed 2 PATs, but there's only 8 perfect kickers and PATs this year in the NFL of the guys who get 10 plus attempts. So if your team scored at least 10 touchdowns, only 8 kickers have been perfect so far. So I gotta give them a little bit of slack. They get a B. Special teams gets a B. Overall, I give this team a C, maybe even a C minus. We are an average team with some way, way, way above average position groups. But at the spots where you really need to be great to be a above average to a really good team, meaning quarterback, O-line, and D-line, we're just not really there yet. And those are the real difference makers, especially O-line. If you want to be a deep playoff run team, quarterback and O-line have to both be, I think, a B. Unless you have an all-time elite defense, which, it is what it is. But for the most part, you need to have an above average quarterback, like a top 10, maybe, and a very good O-line. And the O-line helps the passing game as well as the running game. And the run game's already there. The receivers are already there. We got to work on a few things, and this team could be even better. So overall, we're about average. This Panthers team is about average, maybe just a little bit below. We're 3-5 right now. That fits the narrative of a just below average team. A team whose losses are a majority of one-score games where the quarterback has the ball in his hands with a chance to either tie or win, and we fail. That's about a below average team. We're not getting blown out. We're not getting skunked out here. We don't look horrible. The defense gets stops. They force field goals, and the offense can move between the 20s. We're just a below average team right now, just slightly below average. That's how I feel about it. What do y'all think about the quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends, O-line, D-line, linebacker, defensive backs, and special teams? What are your thoughts about kicking? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.